Government says its priorities over the next 3 years are economic recovery and returning government finances to a sustainable position. But this will be a long, painful road ahead. It's expected the economy will contract by 7.8% this year, worse than was earlier thought. Output in the economy is expected to return to pre-pandemic levels in 4 years' time. Government says the shock to the economic output translates to large revenue shortfalls. Government debt is rising, and so is the interest payment on debt. 21 cents of every rand of the main budget revenue goes to interest payment.
We table a 5-year fiscal consolidation pathway that promotes economic growth while bringing debt under control. The fiscal measures realign the composition of our spending from consumption towards investment and support efforts to lower the cost of capital. Our revised fiscal framework puts us on a course to stabilize the debt to GDP ratio at around 95% within the next 5 years.
National Treasury says to support economic recovery, it is critical that fiscal imbalances do not act as a drag on growth or continue to widen, but there are serious risks to the fiscal outlook. They include the uncertainty around the speed of the economic recovery and the struggling state-owned companies needing assistance from the state. The government's 2018 wage agreement, currently before the Labour Court, and the upcoming wage talks pose another significant risk to the expenditure ceiling. Concerns of weak growth and rising fiscal deficits have already led to credit ratings downgrade. But some believe government's commitment to fiscal sustainability may keep South Africa safe from sinking deeper into sub-investment grade for now.
The impression is that this commitment of the government is sufficient to appease, for the moment, credit risk rating agencies. However, it implies that the government will have to stick to these commitments over the period of the medium-term budget policy. Statement means that there will be no room for expansionary budgets and that South Africa will have to focus on containing its debt.
The risks to economic outlook include the weaker than expected growth, failure to implement structural reforms, and continued deterioration in government finances. A possible second wave of COVID-19 infections, which could lead to new restrictions on economic activity, pose another risk to growth.
Its debt projections were quite steep and to achieve, and of course that would have required more tax hikes than is currently being detailed. So as a budget which tries to push forward economic growth, and you see that by a shift, looking at the expenditure component or the non-interest expenditure component, a shift from consumption towards infrastructure.
The Finance Minister says government has begun implementing economic recovery plan with immediate measures to boost confidence and investments. This, he says, include building infrastructure, expanding electricity generation, allocating digital spectrum, and supporting industrialization and employment. Flora Sifako Musi, SABC News, Cape Town.